your turn comes around to make it. It's a grim business. It's grim.
Okay. So I just started acting, and great show. Go ahead.
What made you decide on Captain Kirk's mask for Michael Myers?
Well, we're talking about a very low budget movie, so we didn't have many choices. He had to wear a Halloween mask of some sort. So the production designer, who's actually here at this convention, Tommy Lee Wallace, went up to a magic shop on Hollywood Boulevard and brought back 2 samples. And one was a clown mask, a big bright clown mask. And the other, he had bought a Shatner mask and a Commander Kirk mask and spray painted it, cut the holes wider and done something with the hair and said, well, which one? And the Shatner mask looked like the pale features of a human being, which is the line of the script. I thought, well, we can like that at night. We can put that in shadows. That's spookier than the clown. So that's what we went with.
Yes.
John, some of your best work, I think one of the great partnerships of director-cinematographer is you and Dean Cutting. And I'm really impressed with the look of Halloween and the way the long shots where you can just see the actors. And I'm wondering, were you familiar, that was your first time working with him, were you familiar? Did someone recommend him? Or how did that relationship start?
Deborah Hill had worked with him.
Right.
And she had been a script supervisor on several of his movies and said, I think he'd be great. Plus he's cheap.
Yes.
What is your take on today's independent filmmaker, and the lack of support for it, such as losing Blockbuster and Amazon not picking them up, or something like that?
It's grim, right? Well, I hate to say that word because you're so sensitive. The business is changing. The DVD sales have plummeted. All right? Bam! Because you can get everything online now. You can get it Netflix. Blockbuster's gone. So there's no place to really show your movie. It's hard to show your movie.
There's no outlets right now.
That's correct.
There's nowhere to go. I mean, I work with a lot of independent directors. I don't want to do anything, but I will tell you that it is extremely hard. It's important to support independent directors that are out there because they're scavenging for money. So it's scavenging for support. So anyway, next question. Anyone? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. When you walk on set, do you like to work with the actors from your first things a lot, have storyboards and shot lists, or do you let the actors kind of play around for a bit? You're like, wait a minute, you really break that down here? Or how much is improvisation and how much is prep?
Well, when I walk on the set in the morning, I insist that everyone is naked. We show up on the first day and the last day, and it's always the same. We show up, the actors are going through hair and makeup before I get there. I get there at call time, call rehearsal. I have the actors, myself, sometimes the director of photography, sometimes not. We block the scene out, rough it out. I don't care about performance yet, I just want to get where you're going to be. Set the first shot up. Then go away. Let them finish their makeup and hair, let them light the scene, and come back, and then you fine tune it. And somebody will have an idea, I don't feel comfortable, well, let's change this way, let's change that way. And then go on to the next scene, and the next scene, and the next scene. That's how you build a film. I used to storyboard, and don't do it so much anymore. Maybe it's laziness, maybe it's because I see movies, they all look storyboarded. They all look pre-visualizationed. And they don't look spontaneous. Sometimes the movies look like they're forcing actors into something. Sometimes it's great. Look, I don't know, it's just my own personal preference.
What does, do you have Netflix? I'm just curious. I'm curious what's in John Carpenter's queue.
Well, I will tell you my secret.
Okay.
Somehow, I am a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. They made me a member years ago. And something very wonderful happens in the fall and Christmas. They send you every movie that's been out that year. Every one of them. In high definition. For free. So I sit back, kick back in my chair, pop in the DVD and watch everything that's been out. That's how John Carpenter does it.
How has Hollywood changed for you as a filmmaker from the beginning of your career to now?
Well, every director has Hollywood's changed, but also directors change. Every director has, I think, 3 acts in his career. First act is trying to get that first movie that comes out that makes money. Because Hollywood is all based upon coins, how much money you make. And nobody will pay attention to you, really, unless you make a bunch of bucks. Now, you can make a movie that has tremendous reviews. They'll give you a chance somewhere. They'll say, oh, this guy's pretty good, let's try him here. But if you make bucks, they start offering you stuff. That's the first act. The second act is from there till, I would say, you get to be 60 years old. That's what you do in that second act that counts. If you chase hits, chase movies that all you want to do is make money, you're fucked. You have to make movies for a longer time span. You have to make movies that will go years and years and be watched. So, second act is from the hit to, I'd say, age 60. And then the final act, and all the directors that I'm fond of have a final act, is directors never believe that they're past it, that Hollywood's passed them by. And it does. So I think the final act is making movies until the point you realize, I don't want to do this anymore. I think it's time to stop. So how has Hollywood changed? Oh boy, well, they're making $200 million movies now, man. They didn't do that when I was starting out. There are no independents anymore. There are no little distributors anymore. Everything is big. In meetings in studios now, they have a department that comes in with profit and loss statements. This is before you make a film. Now they have no clue if the movie's going to make money. They have some idiot coming in and telling you it will or won't, based on some magical formula. Every department in the studio has to sign off on making your movie. Every single one of them. So it's not one guy. It used to be the head of the studio. It used to be the person that ran the studio would read it and say, I want to do this. Not anymore. It's this huge corporate committee. So the reason you may be seeing movies that resemble each other, remakes of old films, is because it's a big committee deciding on what movies to make. And I'm telling you, you guys go. You go to see them. They're going to keep remaking movies until you stop going. And the audience goes to see them. And they go to see Spider-Man, Batman, and they go to see those movies. X-Men. That's what the public goes to see. So Hollywood has changed, and it's not as, I worked for Robert Shea. He used to, he was one of the owners of New Line Cinema. He was probably the last of the great gamblers in Hollywood. He would make decisions based on his taste and instincts. And he greenlit the Lord of the Rings trilogy, simply based on the fact that he thought it would work. No committee, no big corporate structure at that time. And there's nobody like that now. So it's changed, and I'm near the twilight of my career. I'm depressing everybody.
I didn't want to bring up the word
I
grin.
apologize. I apologize.
It's terrible. It's grin.
Horrible.
Rob,
A lot of
about that creatively, and could you go back to some of your earlier works? Would you have done that type of thing, or do
No,
you think
that's the bleached, they're bleached or they're colored in the finishing, and you see so many films that way. I'm not quite sure where that started. Might have been 7. I don't know. 7's responsible for a lot of stuff. And 7 is a great movie, don't get me wrong, but everybody sort of copied it. No, I hate it, but that's me.
So, yes, go ahead.
I intended for this to be a happier question, but I will not be helpful for this. Speaking of things that John Carpenter does in his spare time, what's your feeling on the NBA locker?
Man, I'm in deep, dark depression. There is no NBA season this year. What am I going to do? I'm sitting in my room today watching football. What's happened to me? I need some sports. We may have a part of a season. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. It's horrible.